All right, here we go. Minecraft Dungeons on the Xbox One X breakdown review. Um, I mean, I have a lot. I do have a lot to talk about, but we'll break it down exactly like we do with any other review itself. Um, so, like with every game, the very first thing that we're going to talk about is choice of music used, audio, and voice acting. So it's Minecraft. You know, you can't expect voice acting. You can't really, because all the NPCs talk like they're, I don't know, Sims in a way. But the narrator, I mean, I can't fault the narrator with everything that she told us without the story itself. But I can't really talk much about voice acting because there wasn't any, other than the narration. So I'm just gonna say it was good enough and just move along. That's all I can really do. But the choice of music, I liked the choice of music that they did use, but I found in a lot of the dungeons that the music would stop after a certain point and wouldn't repeat itself or loop itself. So I found that I was running around in some of the dungeons with literally no music, and that was a bit of a disappointment. You know, that shouldn't be a thing ever in a dungeon crawler. The music should keep going, and in my opinion, it fell flat in some of it. The boss music, don't get me wrong, was great. For some reason, the entity, the bosses that were the mini bosses, their music was considerably louder than the majority of the game. Even though I turned it all down, but I was fine with it. It just irritated me that it was louder than the main game. I don't know why. But I felt they could have done better to ensure that the music never stopped. That was my main complaint with the music. Everything else was fine. So that's something I guess that they can patch, just to make sure that the dungeon music loops itself so it never ever cuts off, and I'll be absolutely a-okay with it. Graphics, texturing, weather effects. It's Minecraft. It's Minecraft. I mean, the graphics worked. They looked pixelated, and blocky. There's not much I can really say. There were some texturing issues in some areas where I had flickering and flashing textures, but it's Minecraft. It works well. It looks great. And yeah, there's not much I can really say. Weather effects, we did have some weather effects in the game itself. We had some rain. Again, it's Minecraft, so it worked well for what they used. Other than that, I have nothing to really complain about, to be honest. Character model design, glitches and bugs. The character model design we're going to talk about in segments, because I've written some of the things down that I want to talk about as well. But ultimately though, it looked all right. Again, it wasn't over the top. It wasn't like high end amazing. But the reason that we're going to talk about it in different stages is because as I've gone through the game and written things down, some of it is to do with the mobs. Some of it is to do with the character design. So we'll get that, and we'll hit that nail in the head for sure. Gameplay and mechanics. Minecraft Dungeons utilizes basically a Diablo style gameplay, where you're running around in dungeons with the camera panned upwards down on your hero, and it's extremely Diablo-like in every sense of the way. And I'm a big fan of Diablo 3 and the Reaper of Souls DLC that they did with it. I thought Diablo 3 was an incredibly well-designed game, and this utilizes the dungeon crawler aspect of it and the loot system. It's all extremely similar, including the the enchantments on weapons and the enchantments on your gear, and crafting of weapons and crafting of artifacts. It's all extremely similar, hands down. It really, really, really is. Replayability and game difficulty. The replayability is almost identical to Diablo again, and so is the game difficulty system itself. As you complete the game, you unlock more difficulties, which means you can go back and do a lot of the levels again, but on a harder difficulty, granting you more better loot, but harder enemies to fight as well. So, you know, you punish yourself, but for a possible higher reward system. And that's what generates that replayability. Because if you are a completionist, you're going to want to do all the difficult modes, and you're going to want to acquire the best loot that you can do. What really separates dungeon crawlers for me is mainly the story aspect of it. And is this story any good? Which is the next thing that we're going to talk about. It's all right. I mean, it's an extremely predictable story. I guess it's not really catered and aimed at me as an audience member, because it is Minecraft itself. I guess it's catered to the younger audiences, the kids and the teenagers. But the story's all right. It's not amazing. It's not like over the top. It's all right. Any game customization and stats building. Again, this falls under character model as well, but I guess we can talk about it now. I was pretty disappointed that Minecraft Dungeons does not allow you to create your own hero from scratch. I was pretty disappointed with that. They give you a list of models, and you choose which one that you want to have. And I don't understand that. I don't understand why they just don't let you build your own character from scratch. I think that would have added way more to the game, and it would have made it a lot more unique in a way as well, because there's not a lot of dungeon crawlers that let you customize your hero from scratch. And I'm talking face, hair, eyes, the color of clothing, and all of that. All of that should be completely controlled by the player, so they can have their own unique character running around in the dungeons. And that applies to also the builds in this game. There is a huge lack of builds. It's pretty much melee weapons is your key aspect. Obviously, there's a big variety of weapons that you can use. You got dual daggers. You got big heavy hitters like hammers and maces and broadswords, or you can go with the smaller sword and you can get quick attacks in. But I was hoping I could run around as a mage build in this game, and though you can pick up cloaks and witches hats and stuff like that to put on, I found no staffs and no magic build at all. It was pretty much just swords and maces and daggers, and that's really it. So that really was a big disappointment to me, because I wanted to run around as a mage. I really did, or a healer. Especially if I get to play with friends, I wanted to throw heals at my friends while they were running around, and that's not it's not applicable. That's not available. It's just it's a shame, in my opinion. Online co-op modes, features, and stability. Now, Willie Mays helped me. We played it yesterday for about 7 or 8 hours straight, and he helped me with the connections were great. I'm not going to knock it at all. And I've seen a lot of people playing this game, running around with 3 other teammates, and it was carnage. And the connections didn't seem to be ever an issue at all. We never got disconnected from each other. The lag between each other, because he plays across the pond where I play in the UK, there was no real obvious connection problems with the two of us. And that, thumbs up, good job, well done. I guess, there's no way to improve on that if it works well for me. I mean, if you're experiencing a lot of connection issues, or if you're experiencing lag between players, I don't know, you might have to look into it. But I played with someone across the pond in the American side, and I never encountered any issues myself. And I put probably about 13 to 15 hours into the experience itself, and never got disconnected once. I stayed online the whole time as well, because the game does give you that option to stay online or play single player. It's completely up to you. But I want to play online if I can do, and play with friends if possible. And like I said, I ran around with Willie and didn't really encounter anything. Purchase price versus digital price and value of content. Now, They have 2 digital editions. You've got the digital standard, which is $16.74. You've got the digital hero edition, which is $24.99. That comes with extra content itself. And I also found the some shops selling a physical copy, which is basically a digital code inside a case. And Shop 2 were willing to do it for me for $12.85. That is very cheap. £12.85 is like the lowest I could find it, and that's pretty incredible. So, to be honest, I'm very, very happy with the prices that they're doing. I mean, I played for free because I've got it on Game Pass. But if I was willing to pay £13 or £17, would I have been happy? Yes, I would have. I feel that the value for content is 100% there, especially with the difficulty unlocks that you get and the replayability that you want with the loot. And you want to obviously get better and higher and higher. It's like I said, it's Diablo. You know, you want it keeps you grinding. The grinding is what keeps pulling you back in and playing it over and over. The game is 2 to 4 local co-op and online co-op. The story modes can be played on your own or with friends, as I said earlier on. The map system's average at best. It's a very basic, transparent map system with lines that show you where to go. But one thing I think they could have done to help improve is have a dotted system which showed where the player ran through, so you know exactly where you've been 100%. I know the map glows to show where you've been, but I think a dotted system would have worked better, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to knock points off of it because of that. I'm just saying that's just my opinion. I think a dotted system would have helped. This comes under the glitches and bugs. We broke the game twice. Once, me and Willie broke the dungeon by teleporting through a gate we shouldn't have gone through, and we had to restart the level from scratch. And a second time where a gold key for a door didn't spawn in. And I was running around for about half an hour trying to find this gold key, and I couldn't find it. So I reloaded the map, and then the key was there. I was like, oh, for God's sake. So there are bugs in this game. 100% there are bugs in this game for sure. Whether it be glitches with the texturing or glitches where you're in a dungeon and something goes wrong and you might have to restart it. That's not good enough at all in a dungeon crawler. It really isn't. That's not good enough. And that definitely needs ironing out, and that definitely needs looking into to make sure it never happens again. Full character customization is not an option. We've already spoken about that. Home-based changes with the story progression. I like that. Very, very, very similar to what Diablo does as well. So I really like that. No minimap system. Why couldn't they have utilized a minimap system? They've got spaces in the corners of the game that they could have just had a nice small minimap system that would have stopped me from opening up my map as often as I did. I don't know why they didn't do it. It's something that they could inject into the game if they wanted to. Not really going to nitpick too heavily on it, but I thought it would have been nice to have it. Dungeon music gets cut off and doesn't loop. We've already spoken about. You can find extra dungeons to unlock within dungeons by finding their scrolls. Love that. Loved that. I thought that was pretty nifty. You run around in a dungeon and you find a scroll which unlocks another dungeon for you to do. Really cool idea. I thought that was very, 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 very cool. The enemy variation is poorly done. I can't agree more with that. There is just not enough enemies to fight in this game. The variations are pretty much, I'd say, within the 10 different mobs of the whole game. That's it. Not good enough at all. I mean, come on, Minecraft. The whole point of Minecraft is creativity and imagination, and you couldn't utilize that in your own game. You fight the same archers, you fight the same zombies, you fight the same spiders. It's just not enough. It really isn't, and that to me is a massive disappointment. That they weren't creative enough to put a larger variety of enemies in the game for you to fight. The bosses were cool, don't get me wrong, but you fight the boss once, you know? You crawl throughout the whole game fighting the same monsters over and over and over and over again. The last enemy area bosses were slightly different, but again, it just wasn't enough for me. The last boss was too easy to kill and a bit meh. I killed the last boss so quickly, and I'm talking within 60 seconds, maybe less than that. The concept of him was good. His abilities that he used on you were quite cool, but he died super quick. Even on the harder level cap, it was pretty fast and over and done with. They could have done a little bit more sparkle to that. They really could have. Maybe as well, there were no proper end game cutscene. You saw obviously what happened after you did the boss, and you saw a little playthrough cutscene, but it wasn't spectacular. It wasn't, over dramatic or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, that happened. There you go. And that's it. Then the game resets, basically, because it's got the next difficulty that unlocks. So you can play through all the missions that you've already done on the harder difficulty with harder mobs to fight, rewarding you with harder loot, yada yada yada. You get the point. One sec. Like I said, if you have played Diablo before, you know exactly what you're getting yourself involved with. 100%. Because in my opinion, Minecraft Dungeons is a baby Diablo game. That's it. A game for the younger audiences to warm up to maybe playing the Diablo franchise itself. Which, if you want my honest opinion, is in a whole league of its own compared to this game. A whole completely different league. So, with that in mind, am I going to throw recommendations out there? Am I going to recommend this game for people to buy if they have or have not played Diablo? And what grade and what scoring would I give it? Now, if a teenager had asked me this question, oh, I've never played games like this before, or, what am I going to get myself into, and yada, 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 I would definitely say, do you know what? Minecraft Dungeons is at a fantastic price right now. Give it a go and see what you think. I would recommend it. I would definitely, for the younger audiences, if they want to get involved in dungeon crawlers to begin with. If this was a friend of mine or an adult, I would say no. I would say skip. Completely skip Minecraft Dungeons. You can play it for free on Game Pass anyway if you want to. But I would completely skip it and go straight to Diablo itself. Why? Because Diablo has way more content. Way more. It looks a million times better. Sounds and plays a million times better. Better loot, better bosses, and an incredible story arc with phenomenal voice acting in it that I'm telling you is praised under the sun. The voice acting in that game is beyond incredible. Beyond incredible. So with looking at what Minecraft Dungeons has to offer, I do feel it's targeted clearly for the younger audiences, maybe for the adults if they want giggles out of it, But the game doesn't have a lot of content to offer the gamer compared to a game like Diablo does. It really doesn't. So with all that in mind, I would rate Minecraft Dungeons. Did I have fun? Yes, I did have fun. I did. But I wanted a lot more. I wanted more classes, more builds, I just wanted a lot more from it. And it didn't give it to me. It didn't. So it is an above average game. I'm going to say that. It wasn't average or below average. It is above average because it was fun. And what it has to offer for its age group, yeah, it's definitely got something there. 4-player, drop in, drop out co-op. In my honest opinion, because of how passionate I am around Diablo as well, And I would steer people in that direction a lot more. I'd say that Minecraft Dungeons earns a comfortable 6 out of 10. I wouldn't really go any higher than that. And the reason for it is that there are dungeon crawlers out there that can give the gamers far more content. Far more. And the story was just average. It was just meh, you know? So yeah, I'm happy to close off this review. Ending it here, Minecraft Dungeons, a 6 out of 10. Thank you.